Hey mates, and welcome to more MtMtEs. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about Fireflight, the last of the Aerialbots. I am ecstatic to bring you Superion at the end of the week. I hope that you are just as excited as I am. We are knocking out the Combiners. This one will be knocked out partially in October, but it was cool to get, 1.5 Combiners knocked out in September. We can at least start with the knocking out of this guy in September. But I think that, it's pretty awesome that we finally get the Combiners complete. I do wish that, it hadn't arrived so early. I was more expecting this guy in November, so late September was a bit much. But it's okay. I had the budget for it, but woo, that was close. That was really close. Today I'm going to go over this the feeling of this character, his textures, his articulation. I'll compare him to his mold mate over here, Slingshot, and we'll talk about which one is the best out of the two molds, or if both the molds are kind of the same, yet slightly different. We'll also be today comparing him to his other Aerialbot friends, Skydive and Air Raid, as well as Silverbolt, the only non-military plane in the bunch. So if you like what you see here and you want to help me raise awareness for the blind and the visually impaired through Transformers and things like that through my channel, then please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. We're all about raising awareness for the blind here. I am personally blind, and so everything I talk about on this channel is blind related, in the sense of I'm not going to talk about paint textures or the way it looks. I'll talk about the way it feels or the way I think it may look. But, I don't know that for sure. Oh, let's get into today's video, and joining me today I have Cream the cat, who's rolling all the way over there. Why are you so far away from the camera today? Huh? What's wrong with you? Silly cat. Silly Cream. Okay, so first and foremost, we'll compare the mold mates together because I want you to get an idea of the differences, which there are none, when it comes to their size. Their shoulders are on the same level, and their heads are on the same level, and they weigh about the same. I wouldn't be surprised if they weigh exactly the same. They are very, very similar to one another with some slight differences, but not very many. When it comes to their overall shape, they are the same. They each have these wings that fold back on their bottom legs. They each have, their kind of skinny arms with their fatter legs. They each have a head that has landing gear in the back of it. And the difference is, their arms are actually almost exactly the same too. It's weird how similar these guys are, but at the same time, there are some big differences. And it's just like Air Raid and Air Raid and Skydive. They are similar, but just a little different, just a smidge different. And today we're going to focus on the smidge of difference because we really focused on this mold when we covered Slingshot here. And I, of course, called him Slipstream. Accidentally. The entire time, by the way. So embarrassed about that. So let's take a look at him with Air Raid or is this Skydive? I forget which one is which. So comparing them side by side, move your wing back, sir, so your shoulders can look at each other. They're the same shoulder height, and face to face, their heads are the same, except definitely the head for Air Raid slash Skydive here is a bit taller. So he's a bit taller, but not by much, from Fireflight. And weight-wise, they weigh about the same. Actually, it feels like Fireflight may have a little more weight on the Air Raid Skydive. Because here's Skydive slash Air Raid. And we got a little comparison of these guys together. We get that Skydive here. Move your wing back, sir. There we go. Nice. There we go. That's the shoulders I wanted to see. And of course, face to face, still the same. Weight-wise, about the same too. So we're going to set these two guys over here. And lastly, we're going to set you in front and bring out the big boss, Silverbolt. Silverbolt compared. We're going to have to spin you around, put you face to face, and you go midway up the chest of Silverbolt. Shoulder-wise, Silverbolt's shoulders are so much taller than yours, it's ridiculous. Now we're going to set Silverbolt over here, and now let's take a look at, we'll go over the articulation real quick, and then we'll talk about, about the differences. So ankle tilt, 90 degrees, legs, 90 degrees, kicks sideways at 90 degrees, kicks forward at 90 degrees, kicks back at 90 degrees. He also has thigh rotation, which is always fun. The arms can spin. The arms can spin 360 degrees. And they have an up and down. That's pretty good. They can move up at 90. Elbow pulls a 90. No double elbow, sorry. And no hand articulation. And the head is on a ball joint, so it can look down, it can look up, it can crack its head left and right, and it can pull an exorcist and spin all the way around. Though I don't advise doing that because that's really tough, and I don't want you to tear your figure up. So that's a really tight connection. Don't do what I just did. Now, actually, you have to do that for transformation. So only do it when you're transforming it. Don't go spinning it all the way around, because that is a tight joint, and I worry about that, like, shredding itself over time. So that's him in a nutshell when it comes to the articulation. Let's take off his accessories, which are carbon copies of the accessories that came with Slingshot. So we don't really want to talk about them too much. They are pretty much the same. Where you at, Slingshot? Let's take a look at one of your guns on your arm and do a nice little comparison. So to double check, because sometimes I am wrong, and I am not wrong today. Those are the same mold. So his arms, he comes with those two guns, and then we just get his arms. So the differences between him and Slingshot, we'll start with the arms. Not much is different. There's the same bend in the lower arm, and let's see. Actually, Slingshot's here. His little lower arm bend on the underside of the arm is actually a bit different, but not by much. But it is different from Fireflight's, and that's due to the transformation and the different vehicles they become. Face-wise, they both have the same kind of helmet on, except where Fireflight's helmet has kind of a rigid cap that goes down, or a little rigid bill that goes down straight and is a kind of a rectangular shape, but at an angle, like a wedge. The one for Slingshot here is rounded, and it feels more like a Korean-era war helmet with these two rectangular things on either side of it. But it's got a rounded kind of feel to it. So that's a big difference in their heads alone right there. Now, when it comes to their arms, I already said that, not really much. Now, their chests are definitely different, but about as different as Air Raid and Skydive's chest. So, where Fireflight here has 1, 2, 3, and is that just 3? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 4 little bumps or little cuts in his chest on his left side, and he's got 1, 2, 3, and 4 little cuts on his right side. The Slingshot here has 1, 2, 3 cuts on his left side. On his right side, and he's got 1, 2, 3 cuts on his right side, and they're like these weird big vent things, but they're little rectangular pits. That's a difference. Fireflight's got 2 more. And now in the core, where their abs would be, the Slingshot here has a piece of what feels like maybe the Harrier jet canopy. So we've got that kind of flat-feeling canopy with the edges, and then that rounded end at the bottom of it. When we get over here to Fireflight, Fireflight's canopy is, Fireflight's core is definitely different. It doesn't feel like a canopy for a plane here. Instead, it feels like a couple of rounded things stacked on top of each other. Maybe that's supposed to be a canopy, but I don't think it is. I think that's just supposed to be like some inner workings of the vehicle that have pushed out to become his abs area. But it's more rounded, and it's a lot more rigid, and it's got a lot more texture added to it than Slingshot's. So that is another big difference between the two. And then we come around here to the back, and we get the little bit of plane that sticks out for Fireflight here, and it's got that rounded canopy that you see a lot in American aircraft, especially in the F series of aircraft. They all generally have the rounded canopies. And then we get over here to Mr. what I believe is the Harrier, and his is more triangular. There's a wedge shape that goes from the front that's slightly rounded, and then he's got wedge shapes on either side with a flat top. So that's a big difference between the two on the rear. Otherwise, they are very similar figures. They work very well together, and I can't wait to really talk to you about them in depth throughout this week. I think the final grade for this guy is going to be a he gets a B plus, almost an A, but not quite. Like in the scale 89. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good character overall, but definitely I was hoping we would get more with these individual characters from Superion. But I understand engineering problems and things like that. You got to work in a budget, and sometimes you can't always do what you want to do. There is waffling on his underside of his wings, and it's major, and I wish it didn't exist. They at least textured the interior of it to make it feel better, but still, it's major waffling, and I'm always a negative on the waffling. We even had major waffling here on the underside of Slingshot's wings, so at least they're similar in that, though their waffling definitely takes a different shape on each of them, and I do kind of wish we had just filled in that waffling. That'd been nice. Maybe there'll be a filler one day to put, to close in that waffling. So yeah, that's my review on the last of the Aerialbots Fireflight. And tomorrow I'll teach you how to transform him on Wednesday or Thursday. We'll go over comparing his aircraft mode to everybody else's aircraft mode. And then on Friday, we will be combining them together to form Superion. So, stay tuned. It's going to be a fun week. Until next Prime. Bye-bye for now.